UFC pay-per-view returned Saturday night with UFC 261, a highly anticipated rematch between current welterweight champion Kamaru Usman and BMF title holder Jorge Masvidal, and MMA on the go has the results. Starting with the prelims, Ariane Carnelossi defeated Liang by second round TKO. Consistent ground and pound earned Carnelossi her first UFC victory in the opening bout. Carnelossi was persistent with a steady pace of hammer fist punches that were hardly defended by Liang, forced the fight to end in the 5th minute. Liang's wrestling helped her greatly in the first round, putting herself in controlling positions against Carnelossi. However, Carnelossi was active with damage on the ground, landing a high volume of punches that overwhelmed Liang. On another barn burner, Jeff Molina's back-and-forth striking battle against Aoriqileng earned him a decision win in his UFC debut. The fight showcased the toughness of both fighters along with their cardio, as the output of punches held up through 15 minutes. Molina did more damage with his punches throughout the fight. He scored 2 knockdowns in the second round, dropping Aoriqileng with his punches. Most of the third round saw Aoriqileng remain tough while Molina landed a high volume of punches. Aoriqileng didn't defend most of the shots in the final round, although he did not seem severely stunned by much of it. Kazula Vargas snapped a 2-fight skid to defeat UFC debutant Rongzhu via unanimous decision. The win came after Vargas was more active on the feet and looked for chokes when on the ground. Vargas spent a fair portion of the second round looking for a guillotine choke. While it was Rongzhu that took the fight to the ground in the second frame, he spent most of his time on the ground defending. Vargas landed more strikes throughout. Rongzhu's output increased later in the fight, and it was clear from the start that he was comfortable in the cage. Danaa Batgerel had a quick and explosive win in his return to the octagon on Saturday, stopping LFA veteran Natividad in the first minute with strikes. Batgerel was able to drop Natividad with a left hook while backing up. Moments later, a few punches on the ground from Batgerel forced the referee to end the fight. Batgerel now has stoppage wins in his last 2 appearances. His previous fight, which was now over a year ago, saw him stop Guido Canetti in the first round. Former 2-time CFFC featherweight champion Pat Sabatini had a successful UFC debut on Saturday, defeating Tristan Connolly in a unanimous decision fight. Sabatini's win came from control with wrestling and grappling for the majority of the time. Sabatini was getting his first UFC fight after being a veteran in regional promotion CFFC in recent years. He exited the regional circuit after earning 2 stoppage wins last year. Connolly was returning for his second UFC fight. His UFC debut was back in September of 2019, where he stepped in on short notice to fight Michel Pereira. Brendan Allen scored an abrupt victory on the prelims, submitting Carl Robertson in the closing seconds of the first round with a heel hook. Allen was able to get the submission after grabbing a hold of Robertson's left leg in the final minute. The tap came during a position that saw both fighters have a hold of each other's legs in a seated position. The middleweights exchanged with hard strikes in the first half of the round before Allen scored a takedown. Dwight Grant pulled off a close win against Stefan Skulik, defeating him via split decision on the prelims. The win for Grant came after a close fight that included both fighters showing their striking skills. Skulik looked to close the fight out late, attempting a guillotine choke on the ground after hurting Grant with a punch on the feet. Media scores from MayDecisions.com varied, with 12 of 18 participants scoring the fight for Skulik.
White, the body snatcher, Grant!
Randy Brown showed his striking and grappling skills in a quick performance, submitting Alex Oliveira in the first round with a rear naked choke on Saturday. Brown scored a knockdown early in the fight with a right hook. Brown stayed pressed on Oliveira afterwards, staying mounted on his back when they got to the feet. Brown applied a one-arm rear naked choke as they went back down, causing Oliveira to tap out eventually. Brown got in the face of Oliveira immediately after the fight finished, shouting and waving the middle finger at him. Before we finish the video, if you enjoyed this content, like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell to get the latest videos from MMA on the go. Starting the main card, Anthony Smith defeated Jimmy Crute by first round TKO. Damage to Jimmy Crute's left leg forced him out of a fight after 1 round, handing UFC veteran Anthony Smith a victory. Damage to Crute's leg seemingly came from kicks that hurt Crute early on. A leg of Kroot seemingly got hurt late in the first round, as a leg kick dropped him for a moment. While Kroot was able to survive the rest of the round by landing 2 takedowns, he limped back to his corner after the fight and clearly had little control of it. After a doctor checked Kroot out in between rounds, a call was made to end the fight. The fight was Smith's first that wasn't a headlining bout since 2017. His 7 previous fights were the main events to cards, including a title fight against Jon Jones in 2019. Chris Weidman's fight against Uriah Hall ended in the opening seconds, as a checked leg kick snapped his leg. The injury stopped the fight in only 17 seconds, forcing Weidman to get stretchered out of the cage. The gruesome injury brought shock to Hall and the live attendants in Jacksonville. The fight between Weidman and Hall was a rematch over a decade in the making, as the middleweights had met on the regional scene early in their careers. Weidman won that encounter, stopping Hall within a round in 2010. Valentina Shevchenko's run as UFC Flyweight champion continued on Saturday with a win over Jessica Andrade that was nothing short of dominant. The victory for Shevchenko came in the second round, where she landed a series of punches and elbows from the crucifix position, causing the referee to end the fight eventually. Shevchenko kept control of Andrade for most of the 2-round fight, scoring numerous takedowns throughout. "I like to surprise people," said Shevchenko about her game plan during the post-fight interview. Rose Namajunas landed a perfectly timed head kick to stop UFC Strawweight champion Zhang Weili in the first round and kick off her second run as champion. Zhang was finished on the ground with hammer fist punches by Namajunas shortly after a head kick knocked her down in the second minute of action. The fight, which did not last long, was still in the feeling out process prior to the finish win for Namajunas. Namajunas was making her return to the title picture after she lost her belt to Jessica Andrade in 2019.
Undisputed UFC Strawweight Champion of the World, Carnelossi.
A powerful right cross from Kamaru Usman put an end to his rivalry against Jorge Masvidal on Saturday, stopping their main event fight in the second round and giving him his 4th title defense as the UFC welterweight champion. Usman's finish victory came early in the second round, as a right hand dropped Masvidal on his back. Usman then continued with punches on the ground until the referee called an end to their fight.
Still the undisputed UFC welterweight champion of the world, Kamaru, the Nigerian Nightmare, Usman.